If you're someone who prefers styling their natural hair as a protective hairstyle rather than making braids or adding extensions to their hair, do you know that you can still reach your hair goals and retain the length you want? With all these steps, I'm going to show you how you can do that. When it comes to retaining length, I know most people would advise you that you should keep your hair in a protective hairstyle, whether it's doing braids with extensions or just making your natural hair, but just having your hair made and left alone is like the common advice you find everywhere. And I'm not going to lie, that's what I use to actually grow my hair and retain length. It works well for me, but there's also another way you can also retain length if you're not interested in making braids or doing twist. When it comes to retaining length, you should understand that keeping your ends protected because they're the oldest part of your hair, and if they are breaking off, you're not going to retain length. And also having a good routine and reducing manipulation on your hair is literally three things you need to have on lock, and you see your hair retaining length. Reduce that manipulation, because if you're over manipulating your hair is going to be under a lot of tension, which can cause breakage, and you won't have a healthy hair. Having a routine, because it's very important to stick to a good routine, because if your hair is left dry, you're going to get split ends, your hair is going to break off, and your hair is not going to look healthy. And taking care of your ends, because they're the oldest part of your hair, and if you want to retain length, you have to take care of them. So I'm going to share with you some of the hairstyles that I've tried that has worked well for me in also retaining length without having to do braids or add extensions to my hair. Just cute hairstyles that are low tension, low manipulation, and you can also find a way to protect your ends. And I'm also going to be sharing tips that will help you in the long run if this is the way you want to be growing your hair. The first thing I'm going to talk about is stretching your hair. There are so many ways you can stretch your hair that requires no heat, whether it's African threading, doing twists, doing braid out, or if you want to add heat to your hair, you can also just use a heat protectant. But when it comes to stretching your hair, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it helps to reduce single strand knots. Single strand knots are something that you can get on your hair when your hair is in a curly state, or because of how curly your hair is, they can easily just tangle and form knots. So this helps to prevent that, and especially since your hair is left out longer than it's in a actually in a protective hairstyle, which is braids or adding extensions or whatever protective hairstyle you want to do. When your hair is left out, it has more chances of having single strand knots, which can cause your ends to be rough. So I will always say using or stretching out your hair is one way you can reduce that. And when it comes to African threading, I really like African threading because it's a heatless way to actually stretch out your hair. I'm also going to show you another method I used to stretch out my hair, but African threading, using twist, using braids, like doing braid out, doing twist out, and also blow drying your hair. Like those are like the two ways I've been able to stretch my hair. Another heatless way you can actually stretch out your hair is using a blow dryer. I highly recommend you actually use heat protectant when you're doing this, because you don't want to cause heat damage, which can lead to you actually cutting it over time. So if you want to retain length, try and use a heat protectant, and also putting your your blow dryer on the lowest level of heat would also be required if you want to reduce that. And also how I blow dry my hair is just keeping my hair in a stretched position, then running the blow dryer through the length of my hair. That's how I'm able to achieve the look. I also mentioned before there are alternative ways to stretch out your hair, whether it's African threading, doing twist out, doing braid out. Those are other ways I would recommend you try, because blow drying can cause heat damage, and over time you would have to cut it off. So I would say African threading and twist out and braid out should be like the recommended way to stretch out your hair. Moving on to the first hairstyle that I'm going to recommend. This is going to be a slick bun, but with a twist to it. So I love doing buns when I'm doing my natural hair, but I decided that I don't want to leave my hair out. So I found a cute way to also keep my ends protected by twisting the ponytail. So when I did this, I also wanted a curly look. So I went ahead to use like curly ones, or curly, what they call them, I don't know, to actually fix up my ends. So why I like this hairstyle is that when I'm going to bed, I tuck my ends, like I fold them in, so my ends are protected when I'm going to bed. And I also wear a headscarf. So this is a low tension hairstyle you can also try. Don't make your bun too tight. Like, you don't need your hair to be so tight. Just make sure the bun isn't too tight, and twisting up your ends and curling them is also a look you can try out. Another style you can try that requires no tension and less manipulation on your hair is actually this style. It has been trending a lot and I really wanted to try it out. I really love how it came out, and also when you want to go to bed, how you can keep your ends protected is by twisting them up, and when you wake up the next morning you get like a little cute twist out. The next tip I'm going to give is your nighttime routine. When you're going to bed, I'll always recommend you twist up your hair or braid your hair. Like, make sure your hair is not left out, and when you want to go to bed, just wear a headscarf to keep it protected. And when you wake up the next morning, you get another cute hairstyle, you get twist out, and this is literally my go-to hairstyle. The next I'm going to talk about is very important. I will always recommend you washing your hair once every 2 weeks. You need to have a good routine, and moisture is very important when it comes to having a healthy natural hair. I would say washing your hair, deep conditioning is very important. Having a good deep conditioner you can use on your hair is important too. And I would also say that when your hair is left out, you can also get, like, your hair can dry in between your wash days. Like, before your wash days, your hair can get dry. Going in with a moisture routine is also important too. Just making sure your hair is never dry. Just know that when it comes to natural hair, moisture is very important. You need to make sure your hair is moisturized because dry hair breaks and you're trying to retain length. So make sure your hair is moisturized before your wash day. If your hair is dry, get a conditioner, get a spray bottle, spray your hair, get water going in. Don't apply oils on dry hair. Make sure you have a conditioner going in first, then just put your oils to seal your hair. It's a very quick routine you do. Like, a moisture routine is like the fastest routine you can ever have. So make sure that you also have a good moisture routine in between your wash days, because I know your hair is going to get dry before your next wash day. And also for your wash days, having a good shampoo is important. Make sure you have a good deep conditioner. Deep condition your hair for the added moisture. I love using the LOC method for my last stage in my routine, which is liquid, oil and cream. I go in with my leave-in conditioner, then I go in with my oils, then lastly I go in with shea butter to lock in that moisture. And I also went ahead to show you my heat protectant because I ended up styling my hair after this routine. Just a quick way I can stretch out my hair. So for your LOC method, I will always say that using a leave-in conditioner first off on your hair. I would say don't apply directly to your scalp because you don't want to cause build-ups, and it's a very thick conditioner, so you don't want to apply it directly to your scalp. Then for my oils, I like to use the virgin hair fertilizer cream and use my herbal oil from Shine Organics to actually apply this on the length of my hair and also my scalp, because it's a very lightweight cream, and I'm also preparing it up with the herbal oil. It's really helpful for my hair, has a lot of benefits, and I absolutely love using this in my routine. It's another stage in my routine that I don't skip, and just finding a good oil like a herbal oil, it's very important. I went ahead to twist up that section because working in sections is very important. If you want to reduce that tangle, manipulation, tension, just put your hair back in its section because it will save you time to actually go and detangle it again. So I went ahead to stretch out my hair like I mentioned, and literally that's all concerning growing your hair without protective hairstyles. It's very easy, just making sure your ends are never dry, they are protected, tucked in, making sure you're doing hairstyles that require less tension, less manipulation, and having a good routine, like making sure you're having, like, doing your moisture routine, washing your hair. It's also an important part. So trust me when I say you can reach your hair goals with this, and I would love to know if you have any questions concerning this in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.